everyone, the doctor is in. It's Dr. Oz in the Red Velvet Cake Studios, and he's known as everyone's doctor, but he's also known as Oprah's doctor, if that's okay for me to say.
It's all right, it's okay.
What do you think about all the changes going on with the Oprah Network? I mean, it's the last season of the Oprah Show.
I'm very psyched up. First of all, I'm really proud of Oprah.
Yeah.
She made a very difficult decision to go from being on television every day to helping other people do their television work more effectively. And so she's leading in a different direction, taking those creative energies and taking them to a new height. And I have huge aspirations. I've worked closely with the folks on the Oprah Network. They've got wonderful programs. You know, it's tough to launch a network. You got to get a lot of good shows out there. You got to stimulate them all at the same time. And when people start to fall off the tracks, you got to get it back on again. But when you got a whole network, you got to get a lot of boxcars back on the tracks, and they've been able to do it pretty effectively. Plus, the show is so good this year.
Of
25th
course.
anniversary shows, and she's going to go back, and she's pledged us, and I know she'll deliver, and pick out the best moments of those 25 years, the moments that changed our lives, and bring them back to us to get a little bit of a modern appeal.
Yeah, absolutely love the Oprah Show. I mean, who doesn't? I just hope that they go back and count each and every tear that's been shed on the Oprah Show. Can you imagine?
Well, what a lot of folks don't realize is how good a teacher she is.
Oh.
You know, when you're on the show, yeah, I mean, besides offering some health advice, I would go on the show a lot. And when you're doing stuff, she'll look at you and say, you know what, you explained that too quickly. And if I don't get it, they won't get it. So let's do it again. Or she'll say, you know, don't try to talk about the facts all the time. Realize people don't change their minds based on what they know. They change their minds based on what they feel. So talk a little bit about what's going on inside their hearts, because that's what ultimately will get them to be motivated enough to do what you're saying. Those are things a doctor like me never thinks about. I was always about the facts. And I think a lot of doctors, and for a lot of folks out there who've got problems with their physicians, that's the primary problem. We're not taught how to talk to people. We're taught what to talk to people about. So nudge your doctor a little bit. Say, you know, I think I got the facts, but just help me understand why you think it's so important that I do that. And once we are slowed down, we got a little speed bump in front of us, which is what Oprah would always do for me, we'll be a little bit more thoughtful about what we're saying.
Oprah deals with the hearts, and he deals with the health. What are some of the most common questions, health-related questions, that people ask you?
Well, number one question without any possible debate is obesity. And people are always talking about the fact that I do everything right, I can't lose weight. Erica, you look just wonderful.
Thank you. I've been trying.
And lost a lot of weight by doing the things that we know work
Yes.
over long periods of time, which is cut out all the white foods,
Yes.
white sugar, white pasta, white rice, get all that stuff out of there. Cut out the sugar drinks, and then use substitutes that give you that same hedonistic desire to enjoy life, which we all have, but don't give you the empty calories to go along with it. And then you got to move. Just 10 minutes a day is enough, but you got to move. You don't have to exercise. Just get up from your desk. You be the one who goes to the other person's desk or to the other person's house and walk there when you go in there, just to sort of create a little bit of movement in your life. And these things have worked for humans for all of our history, and they will work for us today.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And one of the things that helped me, too, is kind of when you park at any establishment, you park in the parking lot, park just a few more spaces away just to get a few more steps in that particular day, and that helps, too.
I'm so proud of you for saying that. It's exactly what we always tell folks. Find subtle excuses in your day-to-day life. If you work in an office building, bring some shoes you can walk up the stairs with. Right? If you got lunchtime, go outside and do something with it. For the kids, if it's nice out, they should be out. These are easy little ways of making life a little bit better for you, and it's fundamentally all about that. Because prevention is not about getting tested. That's part of it, but prevention really, and avoiding disease, is about making it easy to do the right thing. That's what the big goal is. And if you try to look at what Oprah's been teaching and what we try to do on the Dr. Oz Show, it all comes back to that basic fundamental insight. If I can make it easier for you to do the right things in your life, well, you'll do them. And if I make it really, really hard, you're not going to be able to accomplish it.
And people also should get comfortable with saying it's okay because my heritage or my background says it's okay for me to be a little heavier.
Yeah.
We shouldn't accept that, should we?
No, and the African-American community, this is a big issue. And I tell you, I practice medicine at New York Presbyterian, Columbia University. It's in Harlem. It's a part of the city where there's a lot of African-American and Latinos. And you see culturally that it's accepted to be heavy. It's accepted not to work out and build a little bit of muscle mass, which we know avoids the frailty that kills so many of us. It's accepted to have a little sugar. We don't want that. 80 million Americans have prediabetes or diabetes, and for many of these folks, they don't realize that diabetes is like a broken glass scraping that delicate little Teflon lining of your arteries. And when you scrape up that lining, you scar it in. And so I'm seeing you as someone who's dying slowly. You're seeing yourself as having a small little problem. Don't even use the words that like a little sugar. Be honest about what it's really all about. And the beautiful thing about what you guys have been able to do on the Tom Joyner Show is you got this Doctor's Day program, which I think is wonderful. It allows people to get out there and get checked. We have the same thing with Know Your 5, which just tells people, listen, I will bring this screening to you. I'll tell the 5 things that you need to know about yourself to you by checking it myself. Your weight and your waist you can do at home, but your blood pressure, your cholesterol, and your diabetes numbers, your sugar, you might not be able to. And I'm not trying to scare you, but once you know the numbers, you can treat the numbers.
Right.
And if you know you're 5, and then just about losing 10 pounds. If you can lose just 10 pounds, you will cut in half almost all those problems. You'll cut in half the diabetes incidence. You'll cut in half the high blood pressure problems. You cut in half the cancer rate. These are big changes.
Oh, yeah. Dr. Oz, thank you so much for coming to the Red Velvet Cake Studio. And if you don't mind just telling our people one time 3 things to change their life right now.
Well, coming to you from the Red Velvet Cake Studio, and there's no sugar in here, by the way, to help you fit it in. 3 things to change your life right now. Number 1, you got to walk for half an hour a day. Find some excuse to make it happen, but it's doable. Number 2, cut out all the white foods, white sugar, white pasta, white rice. Want that stuff out of your life. And number 3, you got to find a reason to keep your heart strong, and that means you got to have a purpose, because otherwise your heart won't keep beating. So find someone that you love, you care about, make a difference in their life today.
And watch the last season of Oprah. Dr. Oz, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you.
Stay well.
Take care.